Hey everybody, welcome back to Nerdium, a show where two grown men refuse to act like adults, get a bad case of Peter Pan syndrome, and focus on all the good things in life, like comics, TV, video games, and whatever sort of nerdy pop culture sets our hearts afly. Today, kids, we're going to be talking about something very near and dear to our hearts, and that is moderation, or in Matt and I's case, the lack thereof. We're going to be going through our review of the streaming series Titans. Originally set out on the DC streaming service, but we as Canadians had to wait our damn time just to make sure that we could get it on Netflix. And did we watch the show responsibly one at a time like you're supposed to? Or did we sit down and gobble it all up like the streaming fiends that we are? So sit down and enjoy while we sit there and ramble on about Titans, what we liked, what we didn't like, and whether or not we really agree with the internet trolls as to whether or not the actress playing Starfire did a good enough job. Matt, when you're ready, hit that music, and by all means, throw in a shameless plug.
Alright guys, so just to start out, just a shameless self-plug, I will be launching my first ever comic book on March 26th on Kickstarter, just to raise some funds. It should be a good series. I put a little bit of work into it. A lot of positive feedback so far from people that have seen the script and the artwork.
Yeah, I can vouch for the artwork. I know if any of you have listened to our interviews there with Zach Thompson and
Lonnie Naller.
Yeah. We sat down with them and we had a long discussion about indie comic books and the important role that they play in the industry. I would strongly encourage you to check out the Kickstarter there.
Yeah, if you're a big fan of 1980s mythology and kind of crime mystery type stories, this might be a story you like.
Yeah, and it should be well noted that this is all you and nothing to do with me. My creative juice is dead at the window on this one.
Yeah, Gary did not put any of his juices on my book.
Yep, the books do not come with any juices. That is a guarantee.
That may be a stretch reward, though. We might add that if we raise a certain amount of money.
Right amount of money, you will get Carrie's juices with your comic book.
All right.
No longer a PG-13 show.
Okay, so getting into this week's topic, we're going to be talking all kinds of things about Teen Titans, or Titans as we saw them on Netflix.
We're a little late for the review, but I think, give everybody a chance to kind of burn through it. We're only a couple months behind there.
Yeah, so there should be no spoilers.
No, I think it's fair that, as always, there's going to be a lot of spoilers warnings, but, just like if you haven't seen The Sixth Sense by now, there's really not much we can do to help you out.
Yep. So, we have Doom Patrol that just came out. Not in Canada, though.
No, but just like the Titans, we'll have to wait a little bit, and then we'll get a little taste of Doom Patrol.
Yeah. So, it originally aired on DC's streaming service, DC Universe, which is only available in the US, so we had to wait to get it on Netflix.
And the worst part is that I was actually willing to give DC some money for that streaming service, but they were rather not interested in it.
Yeah, I was also standing there with kind of money in hand, just waiting for the opportunity to give it to them, and they said no.
Must have something to do with the exchange rate. They just don't want the Canadian dollars.
The Canadian peso?
That's right.
Alright. So, Titans kind of has a darker tone than, I would say, the CW DC series. It's almost like more of a, I wouldn't say quite like Watchmen, but it's kind of in between.
It does kind of go into that dark territory that a lot of the movies kind of, I'm hesitant to say flirt with, because I think they're a little bit more than flirting with it. But it is significantly darker than the WB series, although I think you could argue that Arrow is probably a little bit more dark than The Flash or Supergirl.
Yeah, definitely darker than Legends, but it definitely had, Arrow started kind of getting into, a darker theme with a lot of political commentary kind of in there. And, I enjoyed most of the CW series, and I thought DC was actually doing pretty well compared to any of the Marvel stuff on TV. And then, I do like the Marvel Netflix stuff too, but then Titans came out, and I think DC just crushed it.
Yeah, we're going to get to our critiques in a minute, but I think the reviews were pretty fair. For those of us that have seen it, I think if you're going to be objective about it, and as much as we're kind of DC fanboys, I think we can recognize a bad DC product for a bad DC product. You know what I mean? I think we've been pretty quick to call that kind of stuff out.
Yeah.
But it always seems to me that if there's one thing DC can seemingly do very, very well that Marvel can't do, and that is like a syndicated TV series, or in this case, like a streaming series.
Yeah, Marvel seems to have a difficult time with it. Like, they had their Netflix series, which they've decided to cancel all of them. So I think you're gonna see DC and some other kind of comics filling that void. Like, you're in the Umbrella Academy now, and a few other ones are coming out.
Yeah,
and they're kind of taking over where we're now losing Punisher, Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, Daredevil.
Yeah, but weren't they moving that to weren't they moving to the Disney streaming service?
They're not able to continue on with those characters right away.
Okay.
So there's kind of a cool off period.
Okay.
Yeah. So the characters that were created on Netflix can't be immediately picked up on the DC streaming service.
Kind of like we promise not to use these until the steel cools off, and then we'll rehammer it again.
Which is unfortunate, because they nailed the casting for most of those roles, even the secondary roles. So,
well, for sure they did.
For Titans, it's actually the first time we see a lot of these characters in a live-action kind of capacity. Like, you see a lot of the characters in the animated movies and series.
Well, sure, if you've ever watched, like, Teen Titans Go, or Teen Titans Go to the movies, like, you've seen the characters up and around.
Mm-hmm.
They're all over they're all over various DC properties, but we've never really seen them.
No, other than
kind of up front and center in the live-action show.
Yeah, other than Robin, which he had in the 1966 Batman, played by Burt Ward.
Yeah.
Or in the Batman Forever with Chris O'Donnell and Val Kilmer's nipple suit.
Yeah. Was it Forever that had the nipple suit, or was it Batman and Robin that had the nipple suit with George Clooney?
I think it was with Kilmer.
Yeah, sure. It makes sense. Those are what we call the dark years of the Batman series.
Clooney's was just Clooney in a Batman suit. It wasn't Bruce Wayne.
No. It was the Clooney smirk while Alfred died that really did that one for me. But anyway, back onto the topic for Titans. Critics didn't really mind it too much. Rotten Tomatoes gave it at 79% with a user score of 78%. So it's usually pretty good to see a nice tight rating like that instead of the huge disparities that we get quite often. And IMDb gave it 8.1 out of 10. And I'm kind of on board with those ratings. Like, I'm not going to argue with them.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it was like a overall like 10 out of 10, but it definitely deserved the high ratings it did.
Yeah, for sure. We're absolutely sure.
And it kind of seems like they really got kind of the keys to the kingdom with DC this time, because like other than the DC EU and like the CW series, where it's kind of like a multiverse mashup, you kind of get a lot of the characters. You get kind of a more complete universe, and they're not afraid to use the heavy hitters, like in Arrow and all the other series. For a while there, they were kind of held back from using the name Batman and Superman.
That's always irritated me. That's always kind of drawn me away from some of these offshoot projects, like, you know, we can't say Batman, or we can't show Batman. I mean, Titans kind of falls into the whole we can't see Batman conundrum until like the very, very final episode, and even then, how much of Batman you actually see is debatable. I think in one scene earlier in the series, you kind of see his silhouette, his shadow, when Dick's having kind of a dream or what have you. And then, of course, the very, very last episode, during his little weird hallucination thing, he kills Batman. Which kind of works better for me, because if you're going to have this extended universe, all those characters exist in that universe.
Yeah.
So these silly rules of, we can't say Batman, or we can't show Batman because that's Marvel Studio A, and we're DC Studio A, that's DC Studio B, and Studio C has these characters. That's always irritated me, because it kind of kills that extended universe you're supposed to be creating with these characters somewhere off in the distance.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like one world where these guys all kind of play ball. And I think the CW series are starting to kind of play with that a little bit more. Like, you had the Bruce Wayne and Batman in the crossover Arrowverse.
Yeah.
One of the more recent episodes of The Flash, they make reference to the Harrison Wells character that's named Sherlock or whatever it's called. I can't remember what his name is now, but Sherlock. He has his wife on one of the parallel worlds. His ex-wife, sorry. Like he had Superman deliver his alimony check, kind of thing. So, because she's a terrifying biker chick, but like you're starting to see the CW starting to kind of realize that they should have been a little less kind of hesitant about using these properties.
Well, I don't know if it's that they were hesitant to use them so much as other studios were being super rigid with things like names and images and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying. Like, it's not the CW making those decisions, but it's DC kind of wising up, saying, okay, we can actually share this a little bit more. And so that with Titans, when you get like the Batman, like you get just like, it's not a Batman series, and Batman's a heavy hitter for DC, so he takes over the story and the plot pretty quickly. But with Titans, it's just a dash of Batman that just perfectly lets you know that he's there.
And that's just it. And that's all I really look for with this. Like, if I'm going to watch a series about the Flash, I want to see the series about the Flash, but let's not try to pretend that Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman and the Green Lantern and all these other characters don't exist. And I think Titans really, really did a good job of not kind of creating a wall around their show. You know, there was a bit of a wall, but it was nice and blurry where you could see where the lines were kind of intermingling and where everything was connected.
Yeah, like you even get a little bit of Wonder Woman too with what's the character's name? Donna Troy, that's it. Yeah.
And I was going to bring that up there. A lot of DC shows kind of, and maybe Marvel too, they kind of do this whole wink and nods and all this. Well, look at this character, I'm going to drop this name. I think there was just the right amount of that in this season. That was just very, very comfortable. You had Jason Todd, you had Donna Troy, you had the Doom Patrol, and that was it. It was the rest of the time we spent a lot of time focused on the Titans. I think they did that really, really well.
They did, yeah. And I don't remember any mention. Like, I'd have to go back and rewatch it. I don't remember any mention of Green Lantern though.
No, I was just using Green Lantern.
Oh yeah,
as an
no, I know that.
That should be existing in that world.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, he's one character that I don't remember if they really kind of touched on too much.
The only mention of the Green Lantern that I've ever known is that there's an episode of The Flash where he goes into one of the other Earths, and you see a close-up with his hand on a phone, and there's a speed dial list, and one of the names is Hal Jordan, another name is Bruce Wayne, Diana Prince. That was the other nod that I've ever really seen with Jordan. Yeah. But I think that instead of trying to rely on this whole wink and nod thing that a lot of the shows do, I think they did it really good. Just a little bit of a spattering of, hey, these people are in this universe as well. Yeah. It gives them something to do with season 2.
And I guess there's no way to, like, if they were to introduce any kind of hint to Green Lantern, it wouldn't be organic to Titans.
No, not really.
So that's probably why they didn't do it, because I think in season 2 of Titans they're talking about having Superboy. So there was a little bit of name dropping with Superman, there was the Batman element, there's the Wonder Woman element. Green Lantern really has nothing to do with anything other than being in the Justice League. So yeah. I could see them not wanting to drop that just for doing a name drop.
Yeah, well, for sure. And they got a lot to play with. I mean, by the time season 2 comes in, you know, the death of Jason Todd could be addressed fully. You know, you have to deal with Dick Grayson going from Robin to Nightwing. There'll be a lot of stuff that they could play around with.
Yeah, and I kind of really wish they just renamed him Rick Grayson.
Rick Grayson?
And one of the comic books I actually read recently, Damian Wayne refers to him as Rick Grayson, so...
Because he doesn't like to say Dick?
I guess. I have no idea, but I was like, this needs to be a little bit more kind of proliferated throughout the DC universe. Like, Dick is such a antiquated name that it's just, you don't hear it too often unless it's...
Yeah, it's really one of those old school things that you just don't hear. Yeah. If ever.
What did you think of Alan Ritchson's role?
Hawk. So, I liked the whole characters of Hawk and Dove.
Mm-hmm.
I like that they used the more of the new 52 Hawk and Dove as opposed to like the golden era Hawk and Dove. To me, it was a great role. He played it great, but it was just kind of one of those things where I could have taken it or left it. You know what I mean? Like they were great accoutrement, but they kind of just had their own story. It seemed to me that the Hawk and Dove role, or that relationship, just kind of did more to just play up of Robin's previous affair with Dove.
Yeah, I kind of had the same feeling too. It also, I liked it for the fact that it kind of demonstrated that here are these regular people in this universe with superheroes that
just did superheroing,
like one day kind of go out and start becoming a superhero. And they also had, I think, a pretty decent reasoning why Hawk would take up that mantle.
Yeah, well, I mean, when they touched on the Golden Age Hawk and Dove thing with him and his brother going out and starting to do that, and of course his brother dies, and then the Dove, the newer Dove, takes his place, and she's all lovey-dovey. But like, to me, I don't think I lost anything by that storyline being in there, but it's just, I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. It was kind of one of those things where I'm pretty neutral on that portion. Yeah,
I think it's okay for people that don't know the characters Hawk and Dove. So they're a part of the Titans, so it kind of brought a little bit of a backstory for those people that aren't familiar with those characters. So other than that, like, it got a little heavy in a few episodes where I think one episode was entirely based on that. But
yeah, and I think that's kind of where I kind of went from, oh hey, it's Hawk and Dove, to it's Hawk and Dove. You know what I mean? I think that one episode kind of detracted from my focus on the Titans.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying it was the worst episode, but it probably wasn't in my top list of the episodes.
No, I found it kind of took you out of the speed of where the series was going.
Yeah, it's this weird, like, sudden flashback episode that was great to flesh out the character, but I'm not sure it was really needed.
Yeah. It is pretty cool that it's like Alan Ritchson's like fourth comic role for the screen.
Yeah.
Like, he's played Aquaman on Smallville. He played in Justice League New Frontier, and then also he actually played Raphael in the TMNT movie.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah, he was Raph.
What did you think of Anna, I swear to God, I'm going to butcher this name, Diop's role as Starfire?
I thought she did amazing.
Yeah, you liked it?
I liked it.
I liked her as an actress. I loved as the character. I don't think I loved what they did with, like, makeup-wise with her.
I liked it.
Did you?
Yeah.
I had a hard time. I had a hard time getting into it, but only because my brain is, like, keyed up to, like, a pseudo-orange-skinned alien as opposed to what pretty much looks like a human for the first episode or two. It's just like, I had a hard time getting into it.
Yeah, I think in one of our, like, previous episodes when we kind of touched on it, where I said that, like, they might take a little creative license with the character.
Mm-hmm.
It might be like an alien kind of parasite that's inhabiting a body or something like that. I like how it's kind of like, it's a camouflaged alien. So, like, I think her real role, like, her real appearance is still orange, and she's just camouflaged right now.
You
like,
think so?
Well, you see her kind of come out a little bit orange once in a while. But
when she uses her fire, like, her actual abilities, like, her whole skin just glows bright orange.
Mm-hmm.
And her eyes, of course, go that bright emerald green, and it looks great. It's just that, to me, I think, like you said, the creative license, absolutely. The whole amnesia thing, I'm not sure. Again, that was another thing that I didn't necessarily hate, but I don't know. But I'm going to call myself out as that I was just kind of looking for us to hit the ground running as opposed to trying to set up any sort of story. I just wanted to hit the ground running and just be like, Teen Titans just kicking the shit out of everything, left, right, and center, and And part of my bias is probably that I wanted way more than we got for a season 1 kind of toe in the water season.
Yeah. I think for the DC universe taking on that as their first kind of streaming series, I think they're more ambitious than they've been with the movies per se, but they were still quite conservative with what they could do.
Yeah. So
I think now with season 2, you're going to see a lot more, and even like Doom Patrol, you're going to see a lot more.
I hope so, because I really, really, I sat down and I watched this without doing too much in the way of actual research on, because I kind of wanted to go into it cold. So when I saw the Doom Patrol pop up, I was like, oh shit, it's the goddamn Doom Patrol.
Yeah.
You know, I was really excited when we talked about it later on. And we were talking about the Doom Patrol getting their own series, and I was like, shit, I'm all for it. Like, by all means, gimme.
It's awesome that Brendan Fraser is able to get into the comic universe. I wouldn't say get work, but it's good to see him back in a role. Like, I like him as an actor, so.
It's funny. I sat there for a couple of episodes watching it and listening, and I refused to cave into looking at the credits or looking at my phone trying to figure out whose voice that was. And it was driving me nuts until the day you told me it was Brendan Fraser. Like, God damn it.
It's George of the Jungle, man.
No.
George of the Jungle.
Fucking Encino Man behind that mask.
Yeah.
So what do you think about how they kind of portrayed Gar, Beast Boy?
Gar's character wasn't one of my favorite characters, but I did enjoy him in some capacity.
I think he did a good representation of Beast Boy.
Yeah.
That weird millennial pop culture nut that Beast Boy is in the comics.
You can definitely tell that he's the youngest of the group.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to say that this is probably just budget restrictions, and again, my bias. I was kind of looking for him to turn into a lot more than just a tiger.
Yeah. Sorry, other than Raven being the youngest, but yeah.
Yeah. But I'm really hoping come season 2 we really kind of get into that whole, he's not just a one-trick pony, but
he turns into a green pony.
He can turn into. I'd like them to kind of like get into that, because he's as a member of the team, he's an extremely versatile member, and I'd like them to see kind of more than just a CGI lion.
Yeah, they can use him.
Tiger.
Yeah, they can use him a lot more. Like, he definitely has a lot more tricks in the bag.
Yeah.
Overall, like I liked how it kind of connected the Doom Patrol, but
oh, for sure. Like it was a great connection to the Doom Patrol. I just hope that he's kind of better utilized, and I understand that season 1 you're really laying the groundwork, but you have to lay the groundwork in a manner that is going to draw people, introduce everybody, draw people into the next season, but then also kind of be able to, in a way, if it suddenly ends, be able to wrap it up within the one season if it had suddenly gone wrong.
Yeah. Also, just because we are Canadians, I did really enjoy that they did a lot of filming in Hamilton and Toronto.
Well, we can always use the money.
Like, there were scenes where I'm like, holy shit, that's Toronto. Like, I've been there.
There was a couple of scenes where I had to pause. I'm like, wait a second. Rewind. Oh, yep, that's Toronto.
Yeah, you see the taxi cabs driving in the background, or you see the street signs. You're like, that's definitely Toronto. Mm-hmm. What did you think of the finale?
I really didn't know what to expect going into the finale. The way they ended it with Robin's mind kind of being under the influence of Trigon and stuff. It's a good opener for the second season. Mm-hmm. To be sure, like that's a great door into season number 2. I kind of wanted a little bit more, but again, I have to kind of look at it as how much of that's my bias and how much of that is, did I just want a couple more episodes? With streaming services, is 11 episodes in a couple of days really enough? No, you always need more.
Yeah.
So I didn't hate it, but I also hate cliffhangers, man. I just despise cliffhangers.
I like cliffhangers.
Yeah,
I like the shorter series. I like it being more compact, where you don't have the fluff episodes in the middle. And like, there's just so much on right now that it's tough to follow every series when they're doing like a full season. So these short little like 11 episode hits are just perfect.
Well, typically now a season's usually anywhere from like 11 to 15 episodes, as opposed to like back in the 80s and 90s where you'd have like 30 episode season, like huge monstrous seasons, right?
Yeah.
I like it myself, but I just don't like cliffhangers. That's just a personal preference of my own. Like, there's a time and a place, and this was a great time and a place. It's just I really kind of wanted. I either wanted it to be that Trigon was out and about, and he is, but then it's just like the fact that I hate. Let me be more specific. I hate dream episodes.
Everybody hates dream episodes, and like I see what you're saying about cliffhangers. Like, there's kind of the cliffhanger where like they allude to something's about to happen, and then they actually stop in the middle of a plot point.
Yeah,
and that's kind of what happens. So I can see where
you get me all fired up. You know, it's like it would be like watching the climax of a huge movie, and then just stopping and being like, "Well, thank you, that's it."
Titanic, right before the iceberg.
Yeah, right before okay, that was great. Everything's lovely and wonderful, and that's the problem. To me, that's the problem with these smaller seasons, is that just as it's getting really good, we gotta hit cut, and then we'll pick it up where we left off. But then when you start season 2, you have like that big episode at the very, very beginning, and then we have to calm down, only to build up for the end of season 2.
Okay.
You know, Walking Dead falls into this a lot too, where like near the end of a season, it's just chaos and everything's going on, and we're all shooting each other.
But episode like 3, 4, 5, 6 are slow.
Those mid-body episodes, we got to build up to the last 2 episodes. It's just, I understand why we do it. I understand there's a need to do it, but man, it just throws my mind sometimes.
Yeah. What are you hoping for later on the season, or the series? I'm hoping that we get Superboy. That I'd be okay with even Superboy having more of a not necessarily a hero, maybe even a villain role, because of the duality of the Lex Luthor kind of genetics, and I wouldn't mind seeing Jason Todd eventually coming out as Red Hood later on.
I'd love to see some Red Hood stuff.
Red Hood would be awesome. And I even I know it likely isn't a chance, but seeing a Deathstroke later on, because Deathstroke is a Teen Titan or a Titan villain in a lot of ways, so.
I think by the time we see Nightwing kind of come into his own, where Dick Grayson decides to go from Robin right into Nightwing, I think we might see more of a Deathstroke.
Yeah.
I'd love to see Red Hood stuff. I'd like to see us get more into the Donna Troy stuff, or even maybe bring in Wonder Girl. The one thing I'd really, really like to see in season 2 is to see Trigon as Trigon, not some human that's Trigon, and he's just kind of taking this look for the purposes of walking around on Earth.
Yeah,
I'd like to see a real Trigon.
Yeah.
Raven, I'd like to see her really come into her own. I said it earlier, I'd like to see a little bit more with Beast Boy. But yeah, man,
it'd be really cool to see, say if they did bring in Deathstroke, they actually use the Joe Manganiello character.
Yeah.
I was so excited when they did the test footage for that and the little teasers here and there, and he's such perfect for that role. Mm-hmm. And they have to use him.
It would be a waste not to.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, it's always who wants what and who's doing what when it's time to shoot.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'd like. I'm going to say. I say more. I'd like to see more of the same for season 2, but I'd like to see kind of like more the characters really kind of fall into their own powers. There's got to be some sort of fallout amongst everybody. They're always bickering back and forth with each other.
Mm-hmm.
We know that Cyborg's probably not popping up because he's in the big screen adaptations. I don't think we're going to see much of that.
Well, he's in Doom Patrol.
Yeah.
So they actually have a Cyborg character in Doom Patrol. So I don't know what DC is kind of doing this weird thing right now where they had all this progress. They're building steam with Justice League, and then all of a sudden they kind of said, you know what, we're doing standalone films. We have the Joker, We have a new Batman coming out. We have the Suicide Squad. We have the Flash movie, the Aquaman movie. They're not going to touch anymore. Cyborg is now in Doom Patrol.
Aren't they looking at releasing a Cyborg movie like in 2025 or some damn thing? I don't know. It's part of a big long plan.
Cyborg, I think, was supposed to be in the Flash movie.
Yeah. Oh, I remember seeing the chart. It was that same Marvel chart that we saw like 10, 15 years ago. It's like, yeah, okay.
Marvel's actually followed it. DC was just like,
DC just can't find their footing.
Canceled.
Yeah, I mean, except for like stuff like this in CW. Like this is, I don't know, if I was DC, I'd kind of maybe call it a break and focus on what they're really good at right now.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I think Shazam, they're gonna like. I think they found the right recipe, or they found Marvel's recipe for a superhero movie and made it a DC movie. But my concern is they're either going to let it go to their head and move in the wrong direction, or just leave it as is.
Well, they killed it with Wonder Woman. I have my critiques of Wonder Woman, but they did a great job with Wonder Woman. The Shazam movie, I like the fact that they're not taking it super seriously. It's a nice change of pace from people that have been super serious.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Other than like the Justice League Batman acting like Peter Griffin when he gets tossed by Superman. Yeah, it's broken.
Yeah, it just wasn't. I know, it was such a disappointing movie. I'm so sad about that movie.
But so, as awesome as Titans was, like there was some issues. So, what are your critiques?
Again, I had a hard time falling in love with Starfire. At times, I felt that there were, like I found the nuclear family to be obnoxious. I just didn't care for them as like the bad guys for like the first 60% of the series. I get it. You're all crazy, super juiced up assassins. You and all your kids. I just could not do it.
No, I didn't find them. I didn't consider them a threat at all. I was just waiting for, at some point, them to get slaughtered.
Yeah, and that's exactly. I saw no danger for. I mean, super killer, and yeah, they threw Dove off the building and beat the piss out of Robin and Hawk.
That scene was like perfect, and that was the only scene where they were good.
The rest of the time it was just like, oh, yeah, okay, well, you're just gonna have your ass handed to you, which I mean, cool, but instead of the nuclear family, I would have much preferred to see Brother Blood. Because of all the characters, especially when Raven was involved, Brother Blood was sniffing her out like a pig after a truffle. Andy was serving Trigon. They could have written it in. You know, he's a humanoid character. You could have gotten away with limited CGI with that dude. One of my biggest critiques is that I think that the whole cult of Trigon was handled poorly. I think it should have been led by Brother Blood, not the old dude there that has a thing for eggs.
That was weird, yeah.
That kind of turned me off.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. It kind of like long awkward pause, but
I understand that they were trying to show like the head of the upper echelon of the cult of Trigon to be these like world domineering, powerful, you know, bored a shadowy figure bullshit things, and I get that.
Yeah.
But I think they could have handled it a lot better.
Yeah, in a comic book series, it wasn't like a comic book component to it. It just didn't fit.
No, it was one of those things that just stuck out really awkwardly. It didn't blend into the story. I couldn't grasp for the life of me their motivation. Like certain villains, I get their motivation. I get it, even if it's just world domination. I get that. I get that you want to dominate the world.
Yeah.
I didn't get that with this.
No.
Not with these guys.
No. And with my issues with the Titans, it was more in kind of the production side. So I found with like the sound editing, I don't know with you guys, but like we have young kids, and so we're watching a movie or a TV series, and we don't want to wake the kids up while they're sleeping, and we're still trying to hear it. Well, I found with Titans, I was constantly turning up to hear the dialogue, turning it down because of the explosions or the loud music all of a sudden.
Well, I wouldn't be listening to it on the TV. I just kind of like stretched it and just kind of watching it on my tablet, taking a couple of notes here, there, and everywhere. And they'd start talking, and it'd be really, really quiet like this. So of course you turn up the volume. It's like, what the hell did you just say? And then just chaos would reign, and the bullets would be flying, and people would be screaming. It's like, oh, Jesus Christ, turn the volume down again. I was like, a couple of times I got told off, turn that shit down, blah, blah. I'm like, well, it was down 2 minutes ago, and I couldn't hear a damn thing. So yeah, you're bang on with that. The sound editing was a little dicey.
Yeah, and you think I know it was DC's kind of first foray into their online streaming service, but I also found like some of the kind of special effects in some of the episodes were kind of weird. Like in episode 9, the Hawk and Dove episode, the car crash scene where Hawk's brother, the original Dove, gets killed at the newsstand. Like that careening car is just so terribly edited. I
rewound that scene about 5 times trying to get my eyes to try to like source it out because one of the things I was aware of the scene. I was like, okay, fine. I don't want anybody to get the impression that I just rewind car crash scenes, except for this case. But it just remember he's passed away now. Super Dave Osborne.
Yep.
Right before Super Dave Osborne would get crushed, it was clearly a dummy underneath the giant like anvil or whatever.
Yeah.
The car crash scene for there kind of looked like that. It went from a pan out of a bunch of people walking around the street to a clearly just like weird, didn't flow well CGI scene.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I was a kid of the 90s. I know bad CGI when I see it. And it wasn't 1990s bad, but it wasn't crisp and clean like it has been the past number of years.
Yeah, like even Flash and Arrow were able to get those CGI scenes better, or at least not even have a CGI scene, like have an actual truck or van crash into something.
Yeah,
like you're not showing the van crashing into the characters.
We don't need to see Dove's mother or like the new Dove's mother and old Dove get crushed by the truck. But I mean, try to
wasn't
do something.
Dove's mother, Deanna Troi from Star Trek.
Was it?
I think so.
I think you're right. Now that I think back on it, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I have really limited critiques of the series. I think that if you haven't watched the series, you're kind of doing yourself a disfavor.
Yeah.
Because it is a really good series. It's not Power Fist. It's more Daredevil.
Yeah. I would say the same thing. Like it's definitely kind of the Daredevil thing. Also, if you ignore the Batman jumping out of the hospital window in the finale, that was a weird edit too. Like all of a sudden, he just kind of inhumanly moves like he moved like he was, I don't know. Like it's just somebody needs to study anatomy a little bit more. The bodies don't move that way.
No, to be sure, like this series definitely has its faults.
Yeah,
and going forward, I'd like them to kind of polish it up a little bit, maybe refine it. But I think if they stay on the path that they're on, they can do a good few seasons out of this.
Yeah, especially now that Marvel has shut down all their Netflix series, DC can reign supreme on this one.
Oh yeah, there is nothing standing in DC's way, and there's a vacuum created by Marvel pulling out.
Yeah,
and really after Avengers Endgame, Marvel's going to start losing steam.
Yeah, because they're going to have to.
It's inevitable.
They have to rebuild an entire next generation to their MCU. Yeah. So
yeah, there's not a lot of Marvel characters that you can make big screen movies out of anymore.
No.
Until you wait a number of years, then you can start from the ground up and then start going back up again, to be sure. But right now, DC can be in a really, really good position to just dominate the landscape. They just got to make sure their ducks are all in a row.
Yeah. And, for their movies, I'm looking forward to Joker and all that, Shazam.
For sure.
I just notice how I said Shazam right there?
I did notice how you said Shazam.
I've been practicing. Anyways, I'm looking forward to like the movies that are coming out from DC. I just want them. I don't even necessarily want them to do a unified universe like what MCU did. I just want them to be able to put out like decent movies.
Quality product is all I ask for.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not looking for the world here. I'm just looking for a quality product. Try to, you know, these constant go back and reshoots and all this nonsense. I mean, Wonder Woman's a prime example of DC doing what DC can do really, really good. There's no reason they can't keep doing that.
Yeah.
You know, faith in your directors and faith in the project is all you need. Keep the money muckers and the finger pokers from the studio just out of the project. And I think that's where they screw up all the time.
If anything, they should have Kevin Smith in there. He's a DC fan. He's worked on Flash. He's worked on Supergirl.
But they got guys like Jeff Johns that gets in there, and the man knows the product. He's been around for everything.
Yeah.
But I think somebody above him is coming around, like poking around, like the one author of Batman that I've been reading, King. He's an amazing author for the Rebirth series. Amazing. Just, you know, let the creators create and see what they come up with. And this whole reshooting and going back and then arguing with directors and people quitting, like it's not going to do anybody any favors.
No. Well, that being said, if you haven't watched Titans, go watch it. Season 2 will probably be coming out before too long. Hopefully we'll be getting Doom Patrol on Canadian Netflix or something before long. I'm hoping DC Universe at least expands to Canada, because like I'm a subscriber of Marvel Unlimited.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy that series for reading comics. But I would love to have something like that with DC where I can read the comics and also watch their shows and content.
I could see them just releasing in the States as just kind of like a test run to see what kind of audience we have, but it's not like Canadians don't read comic books.
Yeah.
It's not like they wouldn't do well up here.
Yeah.
You know, we don't exactly have a huge saturated streaming market.
No.
You know, it's not that we have pretty much just as much up here as they do down in the States or anywhere else for that matter. So I think it's a lot of lost revenue that they I'm not gonna say that they need, but I mean, offer me $5 and I'll take it, and I already have $5 in my wallet. You know what I mean?
Well, now that Netflix has canceled everything on Marvel's canceled everything on Netflix, I'd be willing to like just cancel Netflix and get DC Universe if it came.
Yeah, man.
Like, I haven't watched Umbrella Academy yet, and I've heard good things, but I don't know if like things like that are going to be enough to keep me on Netflix.
There's good quality stuff at Netflix, but I mean, there's good quality stuff on Prime. There's good quality stuff on HBO. Everybody's got quality stuff.
Yeah.
DC is a niche market that I would throw money at.
Yeah.
You know, we talked about DC streaming a bunch of episodes ago, and I'll throw money at them for sure. I mean, I believe in the product. I believe in the company. You know, take my money. I'm not looking to poach your content. I'll gladly give you the money, but you have to be willing to take my money too.
Mm-hmm. And that being said, March 26th, Kickstarter, Fallen.
throw money at it.
Throw money at me.
Get your money cannons out and shoot at Matt.
Yeah. I'd like this series to take off. I have some good stuff planned, so.
Hey, I can, my podcast partner bias aside, I can vouch for the artwork. Check out the Twitter page. The Twitter page has all kinds of stuff up on there.
Yeah. At Bad Beaver Comics.
Yeah, I know. I've retweeted it on at the Big Bald Nerd.
Mm-hmm.
I've retweeted whatever you put out there. So either or go to the Nerdium Podcast Twitter feed. We'll throw stuff on there too. Just I would strongly encourage those of you out there that want something a little bit different, as opposed to your normal fare, to really check it out. And if you're a nerd for comic books, you're a nerd for mythology, whether you know it or not.
That's all a comic book is just modern mythology.
Hey, man. The Greek pantheon can be retold through Marvel's pantheon or DC's, so
exactly.
Get on there, throw some money at Matt.
Thank you. Anyways,
I'll dance for you.
I will. Anyways, till next time. Thanks, guys.
Have fun.
That'll do it for today's episode. As always, we want to thank you guys for spending just a little bit of your day with us. Matt and I always appreciate it. If you'd like to support our show, you can at patreon.com/nerdium. If you can't but want to help, feel free to give us a 5-star review wherever you enjoy listening. It'll help promote the show and show us you enjoy what we're doing. If you have any show ideas, comments, suggestions, or just want to say hi, You can email us at nerdiumpodcast@gmail.com. And if you'd like to find us on all the other social medias, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, just search Nerdium Podcast. On behalf of Matt and I, thanks again for listening, thanks for your support, and always, make sure you stay nerdy.